Trump knows the word thirsty. Be careful, folks. These two goobers had a debate, and I wanted to watch the whole thing, but apparently you can't because it's locked behind a cable paywall. You have to have cable and then have watched it live. Nobody online has the whole thing. I even went so far as to try and pirate it, and that wasn't happening because they're propping up a dying system. Sean Hannity belongs to a cable company. He belongs to them. They own him. And they said, we need more people to watch cable TV. Put up a spectacle. Only put it on cable TV and do not let the internet have it. Yuck. We hate the internet. We are a cable company. So it is very hard. I can't find any place to watch the entire thing online or on a computer. So what we're going to do is watch these stupid little clips, because that's what happens now is things in the world happen, then they get chopped up and turned into 2-minute clips and sound bites so that people on TikTok can see it. That's the reality you live in now. I'm sorry. I tried to be better, but I couldn't because they just will not allow it.
Sitting on his hands. He refuses to take care of the border. He refuses to hold the drug cartels accountable. This is the vision of Biden, Harris, Newsom.
I support border security. I think the asylum system is broken. I believe that we need...
I understand that.
I'm the only guy here that's a border state governor. You're trolling folks and trying to find migrants to play political games to try to get some news and attention so you can out-Trump Trump. And by the way, how's that going for you, Ron? You're down 41 points in your own home state.
Damn, hitting him hard. I mean, it's true. I think Newsom's onto something there. He's going for the center there with the asylum system is broken. But he could be saying that from a left-leaning perspective, being like, yeah, those asylum systems are broken. We shouldn't have so much issue with the people coming across the border. If they come across, great, find out who they are, get their names, write them down, make them temporary status, and then give them a path towards citizenship. That would be a fix to that broken asylum system. That would be fine with me. Perhaps he's troll. He's sneaking. He's sneaking on the centrists right there is what he's doing. He's taking a left-wing position and giving it to the centrists and being like, hey, yeah, it's broken in the center. Come over here to us on the left. Won't it be fun? Hannity interrupted him. There's only 3 minutes on this video, but that's not a surprise. Hannity is a shameless hack who has only one goal, and that is make Republicans money and then give some to me. That is his goal. That is Sean Hannity's goal. That is his goal. That is his purpose. That is what he does with his life. All right, let's keep going.
Administration the last 3 years. It's been a master
Joe Biden paying you tonight?
3.9%.
I thought this was state versus state.
Joe Biden paying you tonight. Good God. Come on, guy.
No, but it's about the United States of America. I thought this guy was running for president of the United States. If
You are
running
too.
for
You just won't admit it.
You're running for a third.
You just won't admit it. You will not admit it.
Because he can't. If he says, I am running for the presidency in 2028, certain financial laws start to apply to him. When you say that sentence, I have created an exploratory committee for running for the president of the United States. Certain tax laws start applying to you. Certain campaign finance laws apply to you, and those are onerous and they're difficult and they're painful, and you don't do it. It's 5 years before you start, because he's not running at 24. Newsom isn't. He's running at 28, and he's trying to get out early. This is the early, trying to get everybody to pay attention right now.
Joe Biden experiencing this cognitive decline, is it a danger to the country? Do you find when he speaks, what is your reaction to it?
Yes, he's in decline. Yes, it's a danger to the country. He has no business running for president. And, Gavin Newsom agrees with that. He won't say that. That's why he's running his shadow campaign.
We'll take Joe Biden in.
Shadow campaign. Shadow campaign. Very spooky. He's very scary. Look at him. Just look right at him. Spooky.
100 versus Ron DeSantis any day of the week at any age. You had quarantine.
I agree. Joe Biden had 100 with Alzheimer's. Still better than Ron DeSantis. I agree.
You had quarantines. You had checkpoints all over the state of Florida. By the way, I didn't say that. Donald Trump laid you out on this. Dead to right. You did that.
True.
You followed science. You followed Fauci, Ron DeSantis.
That's not false.
He followed science.
That's not
He
true.
followed.
You had more kids locked out of school for a longer period of time in California than anywhere else in the country.
Because they were spreading a plague, Ron. They were spreading a plague.
It was the working class kids. It was the middle income kids. His kids were in private school. They were in class in person.
Slow down. I want everyone to be
I doubt it.
heard. If I can ask you, I really do want this to breathe. I want this debate to breathe. I want it to organically develop. To do that, I need both your cooperation. I don't want to be a hall monitor. It's not my style, all right?
This is a book that's in some of the schools in California. Florida, this is not consistent with our standards, called Gender Queer. Some of it's blacked out. You would not probably be able to put this on air. This is pornography. It's cartoons. It's aimed at children, and it's wrong. So this should not be in schools.
Those books, do you believe that's appropriate for school districts to teach kids, yes or no?
Come on, those aren't not. It's not part of the curriculum. They're not teaching
Those
kids
are
that.
Those are books that were in school.
Hold on.
I don't believe him. I don't think those books are in school. I could still be wrong here. If that book is in school, I don't want it there. But then it's not part of the curriculum. Newsom's right. If that specific page is in there, that is not a good thing. But I don't think that it is. I think that Ron DeSantis is lying. I think he's exaggerating. I think he is. I don't believe him. He is a well-known exaggerator. He's probably exaggerating.
The bottom line is you are on a book banning binge, your state. 1,406 books, 3,362 in this country.
That's a lot of books.
Florida's
What about those books?
That's not, we don't provide for K through third grade education, that kind of curriculum. It's just made up. These guys make it up. It's part of this cultural purge.
Should it
it's
be?
just a made
what grade would it be acceptable?
What I find offensive, Sean and Ron, what I find offensive is a very significant number of these books happen to be LGBTQ books.
Joe Biden is in the pocket of the teachers union, and so is Kamala Harris.
Good. That's great. I wish that the teachers union had more power, more authority, more everything. They need more people. They need more teachers. They need more money. They need more power. They need more authority. They need to be bending all the laws towards themselves. Yes, good. You know who complains about teachers unions? People who don't want your kids to learn.
That's why they fought school openings when he came in there. When they had that in there.
It's Kamala
Biden came
Harris,
into office
Madam
and he
Vice
brought in the
President,
teacher union to be able to. This is a map of San Francisco. There's a lot of plots on that. You may be asking, what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that are found on the streets of San Francisco.
Because all you get is clips. Because the internet hates me. But this, what is this? This is the Salon, left-leaning organization that suggests that Newsom humiliated DeSantis on Fox News. So, let's see. Oh, we've got a Trump quote. Here we go. Ron DeSanctimonious is acting like a thirsty, third-rate OnlyFans wannabe model. Trump knows the word thirsty. Be careful, folks. Be careful, universe. Trump has learned the word thirsty. Third-rate OnlyFans wannabe model than an actual presidential candidate. Instead of actually campaigning, he's trying to run around his dismal poll numbers. DeSantis, did he change the name right in the middle of that quote? Okay. DeSanctimonious is a very long word. Maybe he got tired of typing. Is now so desperate for attention that he's debating a grade A loser like Gavin Newsom, who's going to run for president, probably win at 28. At the rate Ron will flail his arms and bobble his head wildly, looking more like a San Francisco crackhead than the governor of Florida. This isn't a prediction, it's a spoiler. Hopefully for Ron, it's a seated debate, so he won't have to mash his foot into his high heels and look taller. But if not, he'll definitely be on a 12-inch step stool, so he can peek right above the podium. You want to say something about policy, boss? I would love to hear his ideas for policy. Where does he disagree with Ron on maybe border security or how to foreign policy or how to use the military, Ukraine, anything? Does he disagree with him on any of those things? No? Just mean girls, calling him thirsty, saying he wears high heels? And then he posted this. I think we can watch that.
All right, welcome back to Debates That Nobody Really Gives a Shit About. I'm your host, Sean Hannity, and tonight we have the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, and Florida's Governor, Ron DeSantis. Let's begin.
I mean, it is funny, but that's what Trump is a stand-up comedian. That's what he is. He's a clown. He makes people laugh. So he's posting a bunch of jokes.
All right, first question. Have you ever betrayed the greatest president to ever live, President Donald J. Trump?
No.
What kind of question is that? What the hell?
Very.
Betrayed. Victimhood. Victim snowflake. Sounds like a snowflake. Trump, you sound like a snowflake. Whine and cry. Cry and whine.
Simple question, but let's try the next one. Are you a short, insecure little man that likes to wear lifts inside your cowboy boots? Yes or no answer, please.
No.
You know what? My wife bought me those lifts, and I happen to like them, okay?
He's even using a stepping stool. I can see it from over here.
Governor, we clearly said no step stools. You either get off of it or you're leaving this stage right now.
And there you go, former president and currently running for president, Donald J. Trump, doing a comedy routine, because that's what he does, because he is a clown, literally, an actual, honest-to-God clown. He really is. Hannity was much kinder to DeSantis than that, but it didn't help much, as DeSantis certainly didn't help himself. Questions were all loaded with statistics in favor of DeSantis, and putting Newsom on the defensive. I don't think there was even one data point that he presented that put Florida in a more negative light. So it was up to Newsom to provide context and correct the record, which he did quite effectively. For instance, DeSantis was programmed to insist that Californians are moving to Florida in droves, which he did approximately 8 dozen times. Maybe those Fox viewers were convinced, but it's just not true. As Newsom pointed out repeatedly, per capita, more Floridians have actually moved to California than the other way around. Hannity threw one question after another right over the plate to DeSantis, but he was the one who ended up on the defensive, as Newsom not only stood up for his state, but made a great case for Joe Biden on Fox News, which was the whole point of the exercise. Great, I think. Newsom would go there and talk about how you should vote for Joe Biden. That's great. That's good news. Let's watch this one.
This time, let me just
I do have a follow-up
question.
in California.
Ron, I'm happy that you continue to talk. Let's talk a little bit about Bidenomics, because I'm happy to take that on right now as well. And I think it's
You're
a fair
big
point.
supporter of it. I appreciate you acknowledging
14 million jobs, 10 times more than the last 3 Republican presidents.
This is what
combined.
Biden should be doing every day.
15,000
Talking about how good he did.
3.9%.
Are you kidding me?
3.9% unemployment. As he continues to talk over me, I'll talk to the American people. 3.9% unemployment, the lowest black unemployment in American history, the lowest unemployment for Hispanics in American history, the lowest unemployment for women in 70 years, the lowest black poverty rates in history. That's this administration's agenda. And by the way, as you smile and smirk over there, you should know this, the American people. Here's a guy who celebrated Bidenomics just this week, celebrating $28 million that came into your state because of the CHIPS and Science Act, one of the most significant economic plans since FDR. I'm proud of the work Biden and Harris have done.
Would you like to respond?
That is what Biden should be saying. He should be out there, but maybe he hasn't started yet. Maybe he hasn't started yet. But that's what he ought to be saying. They ought to follow what this guy has done and then do that themselves. They smart about their COVID response, because of course they did. With DeSantis making repeated fatuous comments about Newsom going for the French Laundry restaurant during the lockdowns, but Newsom got the better of the argument by pointing out that DeSantis wants to have it both ways by portraying himself as a defiant contrarian on the mitigation measures, when in fact he called for all of them early and then decided that it would be in his best interest to prematurely repeal all of them, resulting in many unnecessary deaths. DeSantis claims it wasn't true, but it certainly is. Yeah, DeSantis said, oh yeah, lockdown, and then his fans said, oh, we hate lockdown. He's like, okay, never mind, sorry, no lockdown, we hate lockdowns. California, 2,560 COVID deaths for every million residents. Florida, 4,444 COVID deaths for every 1 million residents. One of those numbers is bigger than the other. In other words, Florida's raw death tally, 86,000 in early March, came close to California's total, 101,000, despite California having roughly 18 million more residents. They have 18 million more people, and they were relatively the same, they were close to the same, in deaths, because Florida did a worse job on COVID. It is true that Florida has a large senior population, but that should have argued for DeSantis to be more cautious, not less. His legacy on COVID is shameful, and the fact that he actually brags about it is mind-boggling, because it doesn't matter. The fact that he actually brags about it is because facts and things don't matter to Republicans. DeSantis does not push a fact-based argument. It's all feels. He feels like COVID lockdowns were bad. So he so he's against them. He feels like California's a dangerous place filled with poop, so he talks about it. That becomes the fact. They also argued about crime statistics, with DeSantis accusing Newsom of presiding over crime wave, while Newsom pointed out that it actually declined precipitously over the past couple of decades. One set of statistics, which Hannity showed naturally, has California having more violent crimes than Florida, but Newsom responded correctly that Florida actually has a higher murder rate than California. So this is a very typical thing within debates. They have higher crime. And then you're like, well, yeah, because we have more people. But then you're arguing over specific points on the graph. Yeah, but they have higher murder in Florida. This is bad for debate. This is bad. This is using statistics in a dirty way. And you can find a statistic for anything, honestly. And it's not the best part of debates, honestly. Because then you have people coming in afterward, and we'll watch this guy come in afterward as well, and me specifically too, come in afterward and start pointing at the things that they did wrong, or this was correct, or this was bent, and so this is the never-ending life cycle of debates. That's how it works. I wonder if or when they would discuss abortion, seeing as a serious problem for DeSantis due to his draconian laws he signed. First for a 15-week ban and then a 6-week ban. A few months later, Hannity tried to nail Newsom with the right's tiresome question about whether it would outlaw all abortions after a certain period of time, but it didn't get very far. Newsom said that these instances are exceedingly rare and are almost always because of tragic fetal anomaly, which is correct. If I were a politician, I would always use this example of a real person in this situation and then ask them whether or not politicians and judges are competent to make such complicated medical decisions. Most people agree they are not. Conservative Republican people want judges to make those complicated decisions for others. That's the trick. That's the loophole. Conservative type people want to make all their own decisions, and they want the judges to make the decisions for others. That's it. That's conservatism in a nutshell. I get to make all my own decisions, and the judge gets to make all your decisions. Conservatism in a nutshell. That's conservatism in a nutshell. I want to make all of my own decisions, and I want a judge to make all of your decisions. DeSantis pretty much stood there like a potted plant, obviously wanting to get past the subject as soon as possible. Just yesterday, a poll was released showing that 62% of Floridians, that's the state he's a governor of, want to vote on the right to abortion up to 24 weeks. In the state constitution, that includes 52% of Republicans. He just made a huge mistake in judgment on that one. And the Dems need to be pointing this out, but they don't because they're wieners. Dems are wimps. They're wieners. They don't go for the jugular. They don't find those problems and they just bite and hold on to them and win. They don't want to win all that much. They want to very politely, very calmly, very chillly be in second place. That is my biggest complaint of the Democrats, is they like being in second place. One of the most jarring aspects of the debate was that throughout, DeSantis kept bizarrely talking about poop. That's right, poop. This is actually an old right-wing obsession going back to the civil rights marches, the Vietnam War protests, and most recently Occupy Wall Street. There are always tales of rampant public defecation, and they can't stop talking about it. DeSantis seems to have a particular fetish about this poop problem, as illustrated in this bizarre moment. Let's watch him talk about poop again.
Off the streets. We've also invested in unprecedented resources in reforming our behavioral health system. Ron has literally the worst mental health system in America, forgive me, outside of Mississippi and Texas. And so with all due respect to being lectured on some of these topics, Ron DeSantis is not the one I'm going to be listening to.
30-second response. You're, well, I'm looking at total time. Governor DeSantis, about 2 minutes.
This is a map of San Francisco. There's a lot of plots on that. You may be asking, what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that are found on the streets of San Francisco. And you see how...
That sounds like a capitalism problem to me. And as usual, almost all of our problems come back to capitalism. Why are those people pooping in the street? Because it's not profitable to put them into a house because they have no money. Or it's not profitable to build safe, working public facilities where they could poop.
Poop map.
Poop map is what happens when capitalism runs amok. Why do those people live in San Francisco? Because it has decent weather. Because they live outside. Those people live outside because capitalism has not given them a way to earn a living and money, and they cannot give that to a landlord. They cannot live within a house or home or apartment because they have not the money. They have not the means to do so. That's a capitalism flaw. That is a problem within our capitalistic system. It is a problem. We could fix it, but then no one would make any money. It would cost money to fix, and then the people in charge wouldn't make quite as much. So it's not going to happen. If saving 1 million homeless people upset a capitalist bottom line, they wouldn't do it. If it loses them money, they won't do it. If it doesn't make them money, they won't do it. And that is the severe problem within the system that we have. We have problems, but they only get solved if somebody can make a dime off of them. That is a flaw of capitalism. And the only thing that can combat capitalism is a government. So a government then has to come up with some sort of plan, like Section 8 housing or cheap, effective housing that costs almost nothing, and you have to apply to, and then you move into it, and then we monitor you and take what we can from you, things like that. That's all a government program, but nobody wants that government program. Nobody wants to be a part of it, and NIMBYs don't want it in their backyard. Don't put that Section 8 housing near me, because that lowers my property value. Capitalism, again. The poop map lowers the real estate value of all of those things in that area. So capitalists ought to be in favor of fixing that problem. But again, that costs money down the line. They want the government to take care of all the difficult things so that they can make as much money as possible. The government isn't strong enough right now because it's filled with half of the government is Republicans who want the government to stop doing everything. So we can't solve the problem because of Republicans. PolitiFact, which fact-checked much of the debate, if you're interested, explains what that's all about if you want to know. Apparently DeSantis' hapless campaign thought it would be a good idea to showcase him on a friendly network because it would give him a chance to talk about how great Florida is. The problem is that there isn't a Republican primary voter on the planet who hasn't heard him drone on endlessly about what a fantastic job he's done in Florida. And frankly, they're sick of it. But that's what they got last night with a laundry list of culture war talking points that merely shows DeSantis watches the same shows they do. It's possible that a few people came away thinking they should give him a second look, but I doubt it was more than a handful. So it's odd. Yeah, he goes on there, does the basic bitch Republican stuff, which they get on Fox News literally every single night. And Gavin Newsom goes on there and acts charming and impressive.
There are profound differences tonight, and I look forward to engaging. Now, I remember in the 1970s, so offended by the Brits, as different as daylight and darkness. You want to bring us back to a pre-1960s. For 2020, he did all of that until you're down 41 points in your own home state.
Smiling and acting is hard. I agree. That's why not everybody's an actor. Smiling when you're not feeling it is very difficult. I personally, even all through my life, when I'm getting my picture taken, I'm in front of a photographer or something like that. You get family pictures. Your mom's doing a thing. Hey, it's your birthday. Hey, here's your photo. Smile, and I feel it. I'm like, He's like, no, smile for real. And I'm like, I don't know how. Acting is hard. If you're not actually smiling is actually quite difficult. So I'm not too mad at him for that. He's not a very good actor, but neither am I, which is why I don't act. Everything I'm giving you here is real and 100% authentic. Pure 100% authentic Waldo is what you get every single day. Unless I'm being sarcastic. But even then, I'm a sarcastic person, so that's authentic, right? Newsom probably made a few new fans. Yeah, exactly. Newsom got new fans among the Democrats who turned out to watch the cage match. He was loose and confident, and why wouldn't he be? He's not running for anything. The point he made clear when he archly declared that the one thing everyone can agree on is that neither of these two were going to be president in 2025. The debate was best summed up by former Republican strategist Stuart Stevens, who quipped, "In the history of American politics, Ron DeSantis will go down as the chump who not only lost every debate in his race, but also lost to a guy who isn't even in the race. That's talent." Yeah, it's true. He lost to he's losing to Nikki Haley right now, and he's losing to Newsom, who's not running this year. He's running in 5 years from now. And Ron DeSantis will again try in 5 years, and he will lose again. So that'll be fun to watch. Let's see. If we can find any more clips from the Twitter. Here we go. There's his weird face. Let's watch this. Because we all get clips, because the internet hates you.
And he consistently puts up...
By the way, do you see that risk, Governor Newsom?
Hold on.
Governor,
I mean,
do you see the risk?
Joe Biden put out not only a comprehensive plan, he consistently puts up plans. Hold on, no, but Sean,
is there a risk?
We already did this. Here's the Mean Girls moment.
And I want to answer that very directly. I'll tell you why I'm here. I'm here to tell the truth about the Biden-Harris record and also compare and contrast Ron DeSantis' record and the Republican Party's record as a point of contrast that's as different as daylight and darkness. You want to bring us back to a pre-1960s world, America in reverse.
Backward, reverse, yeah.
Hard-earned national rights, on voting rights, on civil rights, on LGBTQ rights, on women's rights, not just access to abortion, but also access to contraception. You want to weaponize grievance. You are focusing on false separateness. You in particular, Ron, are on a banning binge, a cultural purge, intimidating and humiliating people you disagree with. You and President Trump are really trying to light democracy on fire. So, Sean, there are profound differences tonight, and I look forward to engaging them. But there's one thing in closing that we have in common is neither of us will be the nominee for our party in 2024.
Damn. He's right. All culture war, all the time. Yeah, they're moving backward. They want to go backward. I've been saying it for a very long time. Many years. Republicans want to move the country backward because they think it was better back then. They're afraid of the new stuff. They're afraid of the progress. They're afraid of the blue-haired NBs. They are afraid of the future because it is scary and unknown. They want the past. They want the pleasantness of the 80s. But in the 80s, you know what Republicans wanted in the 80s? The 60s. And in the Republicans in the 60s, you know what they pushed for? You know what they wanted? Those Republicans of the 1960s, they pushed for the 1940s. It's all they have. It's all they ever have been. Backward facing. Always. Always backward facing. And that is why I don't appreciate them. I generally don't appreciate them. I can imagine maybe a wild scenario where we went too far into one direction with, I don't know, some AI or human cloning or something along those lines, and we would need to roll back a little bit. I can imagine, I've seen enough sci-fi, I can imagine a wild-ass scenario where we are now like cloning people and then murdering them immediately and then it's like stealing all their organs. And there are hundreds of thousands of clones of me running around and I paid to have them out there and they're committing crimes and stuff like that, and it's all my fault, and I genetically engineered them to be psychopaths who just murder and rape and steal and bring all the stuff to me that they steal and make me a bunch of money. I can see that being very wrong. That is progress. It's not good progress. It's progress in the wrong direction. But we would need a conservative type person to drag us backward away from that. I can imagine something along those lines. I don't think it's a realistic thing that we could do. If you progress properly, if you plan to move forward in the right way, you're fine. Those are our two options at the moment. We have honestly, we have the mediocre Dems who do nothing, and the backward-facing Republicans who move us backwards. If we had an actual left-leaning party, if we had leftists in the Democratic Party, if we had a leftist party, which we don't, they would be discussing how to move us forward properly. What's the best path to tomorrow? What is going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next week? What's going to happen next year? What are the steps we need to, what are the milestones that we should be looking for? That's hard. That's difficult. And it's easier to just scream about blowjobs in kids' books. That's easy. Anybody can be against that. It's very easy to be a conservative Republican. That's what I'm telling you. It is easy because you can just make stuff up. Oh, hi. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. The algorithm loves it when you watch it all the way to the end of the video. If you want to keep the algorithm happy, and I know you do, press the subscribe button, press the thumbs up button, leave a comment, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling, and let's all keep that algorithm happy. Thanks. Have a good day.